It's Tuesday, History Tea Party Day. And I'm having a tea party by myself because I have decided that 2023 is the year of manners and appreciation for other people and for myself. And it's good manners for me to have a tea party with myself. I'll talk to you a little bit about just some details about that because they apply to everything in your life. Making things just so and not being concerned when other people don't make things just so for me. So I have a teacup that I could use. Pretty boring. I have a teacup that I like. I have a teacup that I truly love because my friend Pam gave it to me, and it's beautiful. And then I have a teacup that is what I want to use today. It's absolutely lovely teacup. And if Rebecca were making tea for me, she would say, "What cup do you want, Mom?" And I'd say, "Oh, you choose." And she'd choose something like this. If John were making tea, he would say, "Would you like a tea?" And I would say yes, and he would choose something like this because he wants me to have lots of tea. He shows his love with big things. And I wouldn't say, "I don't like that cup." You know, one of the reasons that I detested, was his name Dudley Dursley in Harry Potter, was because his parents got him 36 birthday gifts and he had a fit because the year before he had 37. Like, oh man, that kid. We don't want to be like that. Not appreciating what we have because it's not exactly what we wanted. We don't do that. It's not manners. We're going to talk about that. You know, I remember when all of a sudden men were afraid to open the door for me. And what a dishonor that was to myself and to them if I would have fallen for that and saying, "I can open my own door." We need to accept things that are done to us, even if it's not exactly, even if we wanted to open our own door. Let other people be mannerly to us. And we need to be mannerly. We need that. We need to receive it. We need to give it. So I'm going to talk about some really great stuff from the Founders Bible on manners today. But I just want to repeat, let's let 2013 be a year of appreciation and manners to others and to ourselves, among other wonderful things. This year is going to be so good. I just know it. I know it. It already has been, just in 1 week. And I'm not going to let things come out of my mouth that disagree with that. Okay, so the teacup. All right, what's the teacup? I decided that I wanted to do Barry's tea. I love Barry's tea, but it's pretty strong. So if I put it in this little tiny cup, can't let it brew very long, but I'll get like 2 or 3 brewings out of it. And so I've got my tea water here in my beautiful copper kettle. And I'm going to pour my tea. Let's see, there's my cup. And like I said, I won't let it brew very long. And normally, just take the tea bag and put it anywhere on anything. But I've got my little tea thing to put my tea bag on when I'm done because I'm making it a little special. Little details make things a little special. And so I'll do that. And then I'm going to put actual heavy whipping cream. I know that's not correct. You're supposed to use milk in tea, cream in coffee, or half and half. But if I put some heavy whipping cream, and you'll notice this is Organic Valley, it's my favorite. It's a little more expensive, but it's worth it. It doesn't take as much. And they didn't thicken this milk with carrageenan, which actually makes my joints hurt. But it's actually thick because it's actually cream. So I like that. I use other organic creams as well, but Organic Valley is really nice. So I'll put that in my tea, and because it's so rich, you can skip a meal. It is very filling. It's coat your stomach, and you can go on with your day after you've had this little break that you give yourself. So I'm encouraging everybody to think about giving themselves breaks. And tea is, I don't know what it is, but tea makes a perfect break. I love coffee, but coffee is not really very relaxing. There's just something about tea. It's helpful in so many ways. my daughter, just so she can have a little bit of a break on a very short lunch, which she normally doesn't take, is she goes to her car to be alone. We need this time alone. We need it. And takes a thermos of hot tea and just has a few minutes, just totally de-stress and just let yourself be ministered to. So that's what tea's about. It's just a time of blessing and doing away with stress. And of course it's great if there's someone to join you, but again, you can do that for yourself by yourself. All right. I'm going to, as I said, share from some parts from the Founders Bible and from an excerpt taken mostly from 1 Timothy chapter 5. And it says, manners matter more than you might think. And so it talks about different, scriptures, so many scriptures about this. By the way, I don't think it's good manners for old ladies to show cleavage. I'll just throw that in there right there. Nobody's interested, and it's just not that attractive. And everybody has one. So, even men sometimes now, right? Okay. So manners matter. And one verse that we can look at is Philippians 2, verse 3 and 4. This is really a good one for married people. Regard one another as more important than yourselves. Well, what I want to say there is regard the marriage more important than either of you. The marriage. Do not merely look out for your own personal interests, but also for the interests of others. Philippians 2, 3 and 4. Of course, honor your father and mother. Ephesians 6, 2. And then Leviticus 19:32 says, you shall rise up before the gray-headed, stand in respect when an elderly person enters the room, and honor the aged. And then Declaration of Independence signer Robert Treat Paine said, I believe the Bible to be the written word of God and to contain in it the whole rule of faith and manners. All these things work together. When we abide in the way God says to do things, it increases our faith, it increases every good thing. So manners are very important. And then Benjamin Rush said, Christianity exerts the most friendly influence upon the morals and manners of mankind. And we're going somewhere here about our country, all right? We're not just manners for the sake of manners. That's not what I'm talking about. Manners by which not only the freedom but the very existence of republics are greatly affected depend much upon the public institutions of religion. John Hancock. Noah Webster said, the most perfect maxims and examples for regulating your social conduct and domestic economy, as well as the best rules of morality and religion, are to be found in the Bible. For instruction then in social, religious, and civil duties, resort to the scriptures for the best precepts. Now, the writer says, some of you may be groaning inside, desiring to voice an objection that such an emphasis makes this all about the rules, and what is important in Christianity is relationship. I'm talking about relationship here. And it just might be that the founders would respond with one voice and declare, exactly. Consider some of George Washington's rules, and I'm going to read a few of those. Number 1, every action done in company ought to be with some sign of respect to those that are present. I mean, how aggravating is it when you sit down in a nice restaurant and there's somebody at the other table that thinks that everybody in the restaurant wants to hear all their business? And then use no reproachful language against anyone, neither curse nor revile. George Washington, very wise man. And I like this one. Be not hasty to believe flying reports or rumors to the disparagement of any, we're hasty to believe the bad news, the bad things. And I have stood up for some people that some terrible things were said about, and I said, I absolutely don't believe that. And I was almost being ridiculous because the proof was almost overwhelming. And I just said, well, I don't want to believe it, and it's bad, and I see no purpose in believing that. I'm not going to. Just not going to. Let the whole rest of the world focus on the negative. and glorify the bad news and bad things that people do. I'm not going to do it. It just brings a negativity into my life that I don't need or want. So, and then Paul summarized this for Timothy. He said, the goal of our instruction is love from a pure heart and a good conscience and sincere faith. And those do, as I said, they work together. The more we grow, and that's what we want to do in 2023. We want to grow in these things. The more we grow in Christ's likeness, the more our lives will become focused on others and less absorbed with ourselves. There is no thing less rewarding than self-worship. Just not. Charity, courtesy, civility, and politeness are evidence of the value we place on others. We love because he first loved us. Manners are just one way to express that love toward others. And then back to how important is this? I'm going somewhere about the country. The wisdom of our founding fathers declares that the less a society practices manners, meaning it becomes more selfish, more callous, and egocentric, the more susceptible that society becomes to thwarting their pursuit of liberty and happiness. Declaration signer John Witherspoon said, nothing is more certain than that a general profligacy or depravity and corruption of manners makes a people ripe for destruction. In America, our greatness is not guaranteed by our Constitution, as great as that document is. And this writer says it's guaranteed by our practice of manners, which comes from a right relationship with God, actually. And Samuel Adams said, neither the wisest constitution nor the wisest laws will secure the liberty and happiness of a people whose manners are universally corrupt. So this is where we stand and say, if I'm the last person on earth that is gracious and has manners and cares a little bit about somebody else besides myself, so be it. I'll be that last person. At the end of the day, this is all about love and relationship. So again, let 2023 be a year of appreciation and manners for other people and for ourselves. Might I recommend a spot of tea? Please like and subscribe, and thank you so much for being with me.